You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Hello race fans and welcome to the Sim Racing Media YouTube channel. We are live here at the Darlington Raceway, ready for the Icon Cup Series to get down for 175 laps here at the Darlington Raceway. I'm Liam Irving, joined up in the booth by Jordan Brockle. And Jordan, it's your first time running with this Icon Series with me tonight. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here at the Lady in Black. You know, the track too tough to tame. And I think certainly it's going to show how tough it is to tame here tonight for these racers, especially with the large amount of cars that we have here tonight. So it's going to be limited on space and certainly going to have to find a way around people. Might have to use that bumper quite a ton here tonight.
Yeah, expect it to be a physical race here at the track too tough to tame. Take a look at Anthony Tizio running through turns 3 and 4 as these guys work through their final little warm-up before getting this race going. A little loose there for the 15. He's going to lock it up. Get down out of the way. But Jordan, I know you've spent plenty of time on the iRacing service, running around plenty of tracks. What makes Darlington so much more challenging than anywhere else?
Well, a big thing is a lot of these cars here are high line dominant. I mean, that's the way to carry the most speed, have the best run, and then you have the guys who kind of cut into the corners a little bit, so they go down on the apron up onto the racetrack, so it can make for some chaotic side-by-side action. I know earlier today in the IRL Cup Series, you saw guys go 3 wide, and it gets real tight really quick. So certainly going to be fighting for space on this track.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough, especially that spot right there where you see Caden Henry Oaks coming up off of turn number 2. That's going to be a spot where guys come together, not on purpose, but the way that this track is set up, it's just going to naturally send people into kind of that same spot. Turn 4 is a little bit similar, but I think guys are going to have a little bit more room on exit versus on entry. But you know, we can sit here and say what we want. Nothing is going to make this track easy for these drivers.
Absolutely not. Especially, you know, if you kind of bomb your corner entry, it really kills your corner exit, and then you're just kind of a sitting duck there. And if you got somebody right on your tail, I mean, they're going to be all over you, and you might find yourself headed towards that inside wall at a rather quick pace. And it's kind of hard to slow down, you know, towards that inside wall. It comes at you quick.
It really does. And just like Caden got into the wall there, expect to see that out of a lot of drivers, whether they're quick or whether they're towards the back of the pack. That Darlington stripe is going to jump out at everyone.
Quick way to end a race quick with a, you know, damaged toe link. You smack it hard enough, you destroy that rear end, and next thing you know, you're sliding, wondering why, and then you realize your rear wheel is facing a different direction than your car's intended direction.
Well, we'll take a moment here to look at last week's winner. Brian Smith in that 78 right now sitting on the pit lane. Like I said, got it done last week. Got passed on the last lap the week before at Phoenix. And not only that, he is the defending winner of this race last year. So expect that 78 to be quick. However, another driver that I'm expecting to be quick is Jacob Smith in the 4. Hasn't put down a lap in this warm-up just yet. I don't expect him to with just about 20 seconds left. Jacob Smith has been bad fast all season. Seemed a little bit quicker than Brian there in the practice session.
Yeah, and we all know that practice sessions are one thing. You get the you kind of pick and choose where you go out, and people dive off the track. So you'll really
a little tomfoolery there on the pit lane
really
between
testing
Jacob
your patience later once you cars. I believe it's 40. I can't if I can count. hey, that's just an early show of the patience we might see later on the track. But yeah, you know, these guys are gonna be fighting for space. Patience is gonna be key. You know, if you get past 1 or 2 cars, you know, you just got to have that patience to, you know, run them back down, get by them again. You know, just have that patience and let your strategy work out throughout the race to keep you in that good track position.
Yeah, track position is going to be key. This is definitely going to be a racetrack where guys are going to experience and fall off, and they're going to fall through the pack. But you do not want to be one of those guys. You want to try to keep your tires underneath you, stay up front as long as you can, and that might set you up for a good chance to win this race. We're going to go ahead and give you our starting lineup here. On the pole, we see Ryan Patty with Jacob Smith to his outside, followed by Daytona winner Zach Lockett and Jacob Malone to his outside. Nathan Finnegan, a lot of speed this year with Brian Smith, won last week, won last year, looking for more. Bentley Glazer and Michael Taylor make up row number 4 with Scott Tompkins and Michael Milfeld Jr. rounding out your top 10. Jake Ruel and Mike Grinnell make up row number 6 with Adam Ball and Kevin Gunther to his outside. Nathan Brzezowski and Leroy Koblenz, or sorry, it's Nathan and Kevin there. Then Leroy Koblenz and Jeff Dillon to his outside. Patrick Colby with Charlie Widener making up your top 20. Matt Everett and Chris Mackey, P21 and 22. Jake Christenberry with Anthony Tizio making up row 12 with Chris Camburn and Cody Eldred. Dominic Tizio and Caden Henry Oaks make up row 14, followed by Zachary King and Paul Crumry. Brock Hersey, and that's Fred Flintstone. Chris Powell and Jeff Hollingsworth, Jacob Glodulich, Travis Gilbert. Got it done in Phoenix, did Travis Gilbert. Charles Woods and John McNeil making a return. Missed the last couple of races. Kyle Diaz, Shane Cochran, and Brad Delph rounds out the 41 cars starting this race. The pace truck makes that hard left turn. Field is in the hands of the starters, and green flag is in the air. Jacob Smith gets the strong start up on the top.
Honestly, getting away from that 2x2 rather quickly is going to be a key for him there, as he can just try to run away from this 30, but 30 is going to stay right there tight to that bumper.
First stage going to lap number 50. You take a look at Adam Ball as he's getting passed by Nathan Brzezowski. That's a pass for 12th position. Jacob Smith gets away, leads the first lap, but he's got Ryan Patty all up on his rear bumper, about half a car length to a car length away, running half a lane lower on entry. Jordan, I know that's going to be significant later, but what does that do in the early part of this run is now Jacob Smith blocking down to the bottom. Patty up top takes over the race lead.
Yeah, I saw a little bobble out of the 4 there coming off turn 2 there, so it gave the 30 a good run to the outside there. But, these guys are going to be trying to, get that run and turn down underneath the car most of the passes here we see tonight. So that's going to burn up that right front rather quickly as you try to essentially force that car down to that lower line to try to get up underneath somebody off corner exit. So going to have to try to pick and choose when you make your passes in that manner, because you only have a certain amount of sets of tires, and if you use them all up, you got nothing left for the rest of the race. Find yourself slip sliding the rest of the time here, so you want to try to manage tire wear as best as possible.
Yeah, Jordan, that's a good point. You've only got a limited set of tires. You've got 5 in the pits, and at a lot of tracks that we've been to already, that wouldn't be a concern. However, at Darlington, you are going to want to come in and take tires as much as you can. Chris Camburn has had an issue, jumped to the pits. Brad Delph goes into the pits as well. Looks like Jacob Glodulich, DK, could be race control as he never actually took the grid. However, Brad Delph, Chris Camburn, both in the pits. We'll see if we can get you a look at what happened there in just a few moments. As the battle for second starts to heat up. Jacob Malone in that Toyota, sponsored by Interstate Batteries, looking to close in on number 4, Jacob Smith. But Smith got a good exit off of turn number 2, set him up for a good back straightaway, and he starts to close in on Ryan Patty.
Yeah, this is one of those consistency is key tracks where, you want to try to run the smoothest lap possible each time. It doesn't have to be the fastest lap on track. As long as it's consistent over time, you'll kind of make up that time as the guys that push too hard have their troubles. So if you can stay consistent and consistently find just a touch bit more without going too out of control, certainly can benefit you over the course of a long run.
And what has DW said numerous times, whether it's at Darlington, Martinsville, Bristol, but Darlington especially, you're not racing these other drivers. You are racing your car and you are racing the track. But more importantly, you are racing your car. You are figuring out what your car is capable of doing at this obscure racetrack that there's just no real right way to do. You just got to figure out what your car does best and do it. And, we've seen plenty of guys at Darlington figure something out late and be able to take away a race win. E.g., Ricky Craven, Regan Smith. As Jacob Smith gets up into the wall, gets himself a Darlington stripe. Malone going to try to close back in. Battle for second staying hot. But other battles throughout the field is Chris Mackey, Jake Christenberry trying to get around Leroy Koblenz in the 42.
Yeah, you see the 33 right there behind, being patient, not really forcing the issue. Could have easily tried to push himself to the outside of the Napa machine right there and take a position on the outside, kind of maybe force that 42 forward, but, kind of shows a little bit of a touch of patience. You've got a long race here. You're just 9 laps into this race. And, I think patience and consistency, go hand in hand when you come to a racetrack like Darlington. You got to have the patience to let the car do its job, and you have to have the consistency to, keep your mind level and also keep the car level.
Caden Henry Oaks got big time loose coming up off of turn number 4. Kept her straight. Now let's, while we have a moment, take a look to see what happened to Chris Camburn in the 88. Seeing a very slow-mo replay here. We'll try to speed it up. Yeah, he just goes straight down to the bottom there, and
yeah, it looks like he already has right or left front damage there, and then tries to bring it down.
Oh man, he hit the pit wall.
Yeah, it doesn't have. You can see there he already has that left front damage, fender flopping in the air, and certainly makes turning a hard job to do there as you try to get down there on that pit road. So
you can say what you wanted to say. I'll take the fine from John, of course. I let one or two slip. Generally, it's like a racing like hell or something like that. But Ryan Patty up in the race lead here. Jacob Smith sitting in second as they go around the lapped car of John McNeil. McNeil, the first driver to go a lap down on pace, as Charlie Widener is in the pit lane for an undisclosed reason. We'll try to figure out what's going on with that. John McNeil, a quick driver that a lot of people in our YouTube chat have said
yeah, Darlington
he's too fast. Sorry, I was looking at the YouTube chat. We're stuck on the top 20, so we'll go ahead and switch that. Let you guys figure out, or not figure out, but see who is a little bit further towards the tail end of this field. And we do appreciate your iPhone VT7MP and Andrew Dell for jumping in, letting us know. But a lot of people have talked about how John McNeil is just too fast, and somebody's got to do something about it. Well, it seems like that 48 right now is having some problems, potentially some right front damage to that thing, and right now is one lap down. He's got Michael Taylor in the 08 looking to his inside.
Yeah, Darlington's one of those tracks that you're either really, really good at for some reason, or it has its way with you. And for me, I mean, that's just about every track on the sim, but especially when we come to Darlington, Darlington has its way with me each and every race that I have here, and I just can't seem to ever get it right. I'm not much of a high line runner. Usually if I'm running the high line, it's because I have to, because I'm getting lapped several times a race.
Well, I truly feel like Darlington is where the cream of the crop rises to the top. I mean, I haven't won a race here in over 10 years, and I have been running on iRacing. I mean, like, I don't consider, NASCAR 25 career mode. That doesn't count. But, like, when it comes to online racing, my last competitive win here was on NASCAR 15. And it's maybe for a little bit of lack of trying, but this track is just tough. It's really where a driver can figure out how to run to the front, get things done, and here comes Jacob Malone looking to the inside of Smith after he got held up there by that lapped car of Powell.
I mean, if we're talking NASCAR 25, I'm the king of this track, zero doubt.
It's made by the same service, but unfortunately the results don't translate, not at least for me.
Well, I can back those guys down a little bit, make myself feel better. On here, the iRacing.com servers, I mean, we have some of the best that do it, week in and week out, and I am not one of them.
Fred Flintstone into the pits. I thought when I updated the name last week it would stay, but apparently it did not. So, my bad. Maybe fix that under commercial. But caution is actually out on the speedway. We've got a problem with Scott Tompkins and the 39 rather of Jake Rowell on the front straightaway. Heavy damage to the front end of that machine.
You definitely see that front nose knocked inward. Don't see too much on the other car involved there just in front of him.
Yeah, that 45 of Scott Tompkins might have a little bit on the left front. You can kind of see a spot where that left front is disconnected on the fender, but
it's one of those spots you say it'll buff out. Hey, look, it popped out.
exactly. Well, let's take a look to see what happened to bring out this first caution of the race here on lap number 18. McNeil gets up into the wall. These guys side by side. Oh, and Scott just got a little bit loose. Got into Roel. Not sure who that was that got another piece of that. Potentially the 5 of Everett.
Yeah, that's one of those things you see quite often at Darlington, in my opinion, is the really loose off corner, sliding off corner, and then you also have where side by side cars, they kind of pinch each other into the wall. Those are your two typical run-ins you have, and here it looks like the 45 just gets loose off corner.
Oh, it's a 77 of Brzezowski who got a piece of it. A little bit of left front damage there on his piece. Probably going to be able to pull that right back out, but going to be significant there. But we're going to step aside for a moment so I can fix a name or two, and we'll be right back.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Back here at Darlington, I think I got the thing fixed. And yeah, it looks like it says Flintstone. If there's any other names that need to be changed, I have just figured out that I can do it mid-race. So, sounds like I don't have any more excuses in that broadcast feedback channel. That's a joke, man. I love it when you guys, the drivers, this is a call out to the drivers now. As you guys go back and watch this, I love hearing the feedback and what I can do better. So thank you for that. Ryan Patty going to lead him down over Jacob Malone, Nathan Finnegan, Adam Ball, and Kevin Gunther. Patrick Colby, Christenberry, Koblenz, King, Tizio. Tizio did not pit. Jacob Smith, the first driver on fresh tires. Green flag in the air. Some spinning of the tires from Adam Ball and company behind him. Spreads out this front end here, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked like Malone was going to give up a spot. And now to the inside is the 6 of Finnegan. Just looking to take away that second spot. Tight off corner here.
Side by side coming up off it. Looks like the 6 is going to try to pull a little bit of side draft, but not quite close enough to stay with them.
A little close for comfort there of almost getting left reared. As they look to settle down a little bit. I mean, restarts are key for getting as much possible. As we go 3 wide into turns number 3 and 4. Not something you typically see here as often as you do other tracks, but a scary sight as a commentator.
Yeah, there's just no space, and I can't tell you how many times I've been put 3 wide, and I've been the guy it hasn't worked out for us. Tizio gets turned sideways by Everett. Into the wall goes Rowell again. The caution's going to come out for the second time today, and the second time it's going to involve this 39 machine.
Yeah, just kind of stuck in a no man's land. When things get tight in front of you, there's really nowhere to go. As you kind of back her down, everybody backs her down at the same time, just different speeds, and sometimes you may get run over, you may run over someone.
Yeah, we'll take a look here on board with the 39. You see that 20 gets sideways, he checks up and just gets turned towards the outside wall.
Yeah, Rowell there, saw it happening in front of him, saw he had nowhere to go, was trying to hold his line as he had somebody to his outside. And maybe just a hair upward. We'll see here on a little bit of a slow motion, but may have just moved just a touch up to the north of the in the turn there, and
so Hollingsworth
gets clipped by the 97.
Yeah, he's got his foot to the gas up on the outside, and
I think I saw just a slight, and I mean, it was a slight. I don't think we would have seen it in live time, but just a slight bit of a bobble there by the 39. As you know, you unload the car as you come off throttle and go back on throttle. So, I mean, it could have gotten just a little bit loose, which moved him up the track and got a little right reared there. Just an unfortunate event there.
That could entirely be it, and I did notice a bit of a touch to the left from the 97 as well. Potentially, when he saw that smoke, he was trying to slow down, get down low, because he thought maybe that spin was going up top. But, when things happen in the 10th of a second, there is no logical way to explain it. It's just a reaction, and unfortunately, it got the 39 turned up into the outside wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's human nature. See problem, avoid problem, end up in problem anyway.
Got camshaft Chris, 88 here, 47 actually turned down onto me coming out of turn 2, spun me into the inside wall. That's where the damage came. That broke his steering, and that's what caused him to miss the pit lane there. Cracking open a cold one.
There's always that. That's a guarantee. It's cracking open a cold one. The only thing better, cracking open a cold one with the boys.
With the boys. Maybe after Tyler Reddick wins a race.
Oh boy, here we go.
Hey. It's 4 out of 6, man. I think that's pretty impressive. I don't know if anybody's done that before, but I think we're looking at potentially a Jeff Gordon 98 season. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as Richard Petty 67, but I think he's going to win a lot of races.
I don't know if your liver could handle a Richard Petty 67 season.
Probably not. No.
I like the pause for the dramatics, the slight consideration that you could.
We'll see how the season goes, and we'll see how this race goes. Lap 28, going to be 29 when we take the green flag here. 21 laps to go left in stage number 1. Ryan Patty up front, Jacob Malone to his outside. Green flag back in the air, a little bit of tire spin. Around goes Kevin Bankert in the back. Going to stay green for now. He is stopped on the racetrack with Woods and Hersey.
And
caution's going to come out.
Off the racetrack.
Ryan Patty continues to lead there, but yeah, Kevin Bankert, he went straight to the pits after that incident.
And not sure if maybe a little tire spin or, everybody tries to get as much as they can on restarts as, it's the best time to try to get as much as you can because everybody's all bunched up right there with each other. So you try to grab a spot or 2 or 10 and find your way forward. Like we said at the top of the hour, it's positioning is key.
Take a
So
little
take here a
slow-mo
look.
look. Everybody's super close together, but there's some tire spin in the middle of the pack, and that's going to create a checkup. I think there's just tire spin from the 8, and he gets turned up to the outside.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's a telltale sign of tire spin. And even if you tire spin, you could get rear-ended and pushed out the whatever direction you get shoved. So either way, tire spin certainly involved there.
Got good time for tires on the 20, and Smith smells like cheese. We don't know which Smith smells like cheese.
I
But
saw
we
that.
have
And
been told each and every week that Smith smells like cheese. And for all I know, they could be talking about Zane Smith, driver of the 38 Cup Series car.
Well, I feel like if it's Zane Smith, they would just say he smells like pickles. The Grillo's pickle car. I think it's Grillo. I don't know. Never had one, if I'm being honest.
A pickle?
No, just the Grillo's pickle. I love pickles. They're just usually Vlasic.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to, or like
The classic
something
Vlasic.
with a red label. Like it's still mostly green on the packaging, but it's got a red like logo at least.
I don't know. I'm not a pickle connoisseur. Connoisseur. That word's weird for my speech.
I'm not either. If I was, I would know the brand I'm talking about. But hey, maybe we got some pickle fans in the chat that know good brands of pickles. I do
I
like
always see the
Vlasic.
ones.
Vlasic is always good.
I always see the ones, like Wawa and I don't know if you might not have Wawa where you are. I don't really know where Wawa is.
We do not.
That's what I thought. At your convenience store chain of choice, you have the little chillers, and sometimes they have a pickle that's in a bag, and I feel like a single pickle in a bag is just, you don't trust that, do you?
No, I don't know how I feel about it. That's way too much pickle juice for just one pickle. Anyways, we got Ryan Patty in the lead. Jacob Malone to his outside. Nathan Finnegan on the outside of Patrick Colby making up row 2. Adam Ball and Jake Christenberry to his outside. And the 31, Kevin Gunther. He's got Jacob Smith to his outside. Daytona winner Zach Lockett with Michael Taylor. That's your top 10. Green flag coming your way. Going to be under 20 laps to go in stage number 1, 18, when we cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, I'd watch this.
Oh, tire spin up top.
Here.
Malone up into the wall. Contact from Finnegan. They keep it straight, but the pack is going to separate around midfield. Patty gets away. Into the wall is Malone again. Colby gets through to second. Finnegan going to try to follow through. Can he? No. Here comes the 54 back to the inside of Patrick Colby.
Yeah, I was going to say watch Colby on this restart because he's been fast the last couple of laps under green. But Malone kind of gave him a free pass there. But Malone looking to take it right back as he goes just to the inside there, down into turn 1.
Into the
as
wall
Colby's
goes
down
Colby.
on the wall.
Going to allow Malone plenty of opportunity to get it down on the inside. He's going to get him clear coming up off of 2. Here comes Finnegan down to his inside. Christenberry not far behind. Smith goes to the inside of Christenberry. Tries for a slide job. Not quite far enough to get in front of him. Colby gets passed by a couple there. Finnegan gets through. Put him into P3. Put Patrick Colby back to P4. Remember, Colby, Finnegan,
now.
Malone. Those guys have not made a pit stop yet.
I was going to say, don't look now. Jacob Smith moving forward, just down on lap 20 here, flying up this order here, trying to get back up to that race lead, or, P2 where he pitted from. As he's been fast the majority of the start here.
Yeah, at this stage in the game, he led some laps early on. Led the first 2 laps.
Little nudge there with the wall. That's just Darlington, though. I mean, just a little Little scrape, little stripe given to you.
Looking to the outside of Colby here. He's got a good run. Gets up into the wall once again. And Jordan, we talked about how that can be really hit or miss. I mean, if you hit it just the wrong way, you can definitely tear up your toe link and cause that to break. But hitting the wall here, especially the way that some of these guys are doing it, is not going to tear up your race car like it does if you're, say at Kansas, going 180 miles an hour on corner entry.
Right. And I mean, a big thing with this is, when you hit that wall, if you tap it, it's fine. If you graze it rather aggressively, that's fine. It's when you kind of get stuck to it, where you kind of have that momentum built up in the car to where it doesn't want to come off the corner or off the wall as you turn off of it. I mean, you can easily find yourself spinning yourself off the wall just because it gets almost like a magnet, like it legitimately just sucks you into the corner. And you can't get off the wall.
And I wonder if that's what that Ford is experiencing now, because we've seen him bounce off the wall a couple of times. He's going to get right up next to it here, stay within that certain seam, that lane on the racetrack. Not able to close in on Colby, but definitely put forth a good effort as now Zach Lockett looks to chase down Bentley Glazer. The 93 Tennessee Titans Toyota Camry try to chase down the 36 Mountain Dew Chevy Camaro ZL1.
Oh,
Glazer got a little bit squirrely coming up off of the corner as he tries to catch up to Michael Taylor. Dirty air can definitely be a little bit of a thing here, but I think Darlington being a track where these guys can use so many separate lines, plus this new update with the extra horsepower and lowered downforce, these guys are really going to be able to get racy, going to be able to get close to each other and put each other into more awkward situations, Jordan.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that everything happens almost like I call it a traffic snake. When you have an accident in the real world, there's an accident on the highway, but it's been cleaned up for an hour, but for some reason there's still a roadblock. It's called a traffic snake, and that's kind of what happens here. You have somebody just have a mishap in one of the corners or even maybe down the straightaway, and it kind of just creates this moving roadblock that just moves backwards through the field that everyone's got to get around.
Yeah, it's almost like a rubber band type of situation, or maybe the opposite of it. There's a little bit of a checkup in front, and everybody reacts, and all of a sudden the guy at the back, Pertner, has to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the checkup at Daytona. You have the guy that's racing in the lead or in P2, P3, following the leader at Daytona, and he kind of checks up just a touch, and all of a sudden the guy all the way back in 40th feels the checkup, and everybody's suddenly going what feels like 10 mile an hour slower. I mean, the same thing kind of happens here at Darlington, where the guy brushes the wall, the guy right on his tail has to let up, and then everybody from then on has to find a way to check up just a touch. And like you said, that rubber band or lack thereof rubber band term, I don't really know what to call the term, to be honest. We'll have to come up with one, and maybe we can send it to NASCAR and get it patented. Like, this is what we call that.
Japan did a study on it. They've got a name for it. I just have to figure out what it is. But we take a look towards the tail end of this field. Nathan Brzezowski, he started in 15th, currently in 33rd position. We'll take a look at his chart, and you see that caution flag that he got a piece of. He got clipped on the nose. He hasn't been able to get that damage repaired quite yet. Tried to get some of it fixed under that first caution. Came in for 4 tires under the second. After that, it's just been a tough day of sledding for that 77. He's hoping for a chance at the end of this stage if he can stay on the lead lap, as he's about 2/3 a lap down, hoping to be able to get back into a position where he can get some more points, potentially at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, like we were saying at the top, you're racing the track. At this point, he is 110% legitimately just racing the track, trying to get as much much out of this race as he can. There's going to be other people that fall out of this race. As long as you can avoid them and not be caught up in anything else, you might be able to jump a couple more spots. By the end of this thing, we still have about 130 laps to go. Here, as we say that, he starts to slide off of the corner there down the backstretch, which is
So they got 5 more to bring it home here in this stage. He's got a straightaway ahead of Ryan Patty, who now has a rear bumper full of Nathan Finnegan. Finnegan in second place, trying to chase him down as they get closer and closer to the together. These bumpers probably not going to be used here in stage 1, but they're ready.
No, that's certainly going to be a more end of the race thing where they start getting a little bit more aggressive, just a touch, and then they keep kind of poking the bear in a sense on the back bumper of whoever's in front of them to see how much they can get away with without completely dumping the guy in front of them.
Must be an oil slick on the restarts. James Bond type beat.
Yeah, I mean,
I love the reference. I can't think of a joke for it, but I love the reference.
I was like, I love the reference, but nah. I was thinking, my brain, when he said oil slick, I was reading it, and this is how much you know that I'm a father now and consistently watch the same movie over and over. I thought of Finn McMissile when he put the oil slick down on the oil tower while being chased by all the lemon cars, and one car goes off the end. Yeah, I watch Cars probably about 40 times a week.
It's a good movie. Take a look at this top 2 here with just 2 laps to go in stage number 1. Ryan Patty trying to take it home. Super strong. Started on the pole. Nathan Finnegan has been fast all season long. He's as close as he's been, within 2/10. Coming up off of turn number 4, though, Patty gets a nice run. He's going to extend that gap. 1 lap to go here in stage number 1. Patty gets up into the wall just a little bit. He's got the lapped machine. That's Powell just up in front of him. Powell stays low. Patty right up next to that outside wall. Going to cut back down to the inside. Just touch that white line just a little bit. Finnegan right up top. Nothing doing. Coming up off of turn number 4, stage 1 winner is going to be Ryan Patty. Nathan Finnegan in second. Jacob Malone, Patrick Colby, Jacob Smith, Michael Taylor, Jake Christenberry, Zach Lockett, Brian Smith, and Travis Gilbert.
Yeah, a big takeaway that I'm seeing here is, the guys that came down lap 20, their tires seem to have equalized with the front 4 at least rather quickly. So tire fall off is quick, and then it kind of stabilizes for a while. As you saw, Patty and Finnegan able to kind of send themselves forward there. Going to be interesting to keep an eye on there.
You see on the bottom right there is your stage top 10. Jordan, that is a good point. I mean, in the Cup Series race that we saw on Fox Sports 1 today, the fall off after about 30 laps was 2.5 seconds. So it's interesting to see that these guys who pitted on lap 20 weren't able to utilize that tire advantage compared to a guy like Ryan Patty or Nathan Finnegan up front.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think who can manage the tires a lot better. And I mean, if just going off that run there, I would say that, Patty, Finnegan, Malone, Colby, those guys were able to manage their tires well enough to keep fresher tires at bay.
Not going to be the easiest thing to do here today, but we have been
Absolutely
shown
not.
it's possible.
I am not a master at it myself. I just burn up what I got.
See, I'd like to think I'm easier than most people, but then I get to the end of the run and I get passed. So I've got more to learn too, Jordan. Everybody's coming in to make a pit stop here. At least every lead lap driver.
What is it that they always say? Wholesale pit stops? Get them in bunches?
Alan loves to say that. Wholesale
I
pit
know.
stops.
Oh, I love to throw that out. That's one of those good lines. Alan has some zingers. Alan has some good ones every now and again. I like
He's
that
pretty
one.
good at what he does. Of course, he's
like-
our normal secondary guy here on Sunday nights here with the Icon Series. He's busy with work right now. There's I don't know, a lot going on.
There's been a lot going on with the weather, and I want Mother Nature to just kind of take a breath. Feel like 2 weeks ago, I mean, you're different. You got that snow out the wazoo. We got snow, then it was 70, then it was back down to 30.
Oh no, same here. We got a foot of snow Saturday night into Sunday. Yesterday it was 80. Today it was 45 for a high. So, I mean, if you want to stay at the Four Seasons, just crash in Minnesota in March. You'll experience all four seasons.
Well, we ain't much different down here in the well, just a little bit south in Maryland. That's
A little
get
bit
the Four
south,
Seasons
but
in about a
heck
week.
of a lot of east.
Yeah, a whole heck of a lot of these, that's for sure.
Getting ready for stage number 2. Ryan Patty, Nathan Finnegan, Patrick Colby, Jacob Smith, Zach Lockett, the top 5. Then Michael Taylor, Brian Smith, Bentley Glazer, Michael Milfelt Jr., and Jake Christenberry round out the top 10. Ready to rock and rumble once again. See if I've got the graphic figured out this week for the stages.
Green flag back in the air. See if these guys can keep it under control. All fresh tires, so they're going to get fire off here quickly. I think a big thing is if somebody can get that 30 shuffled out of the lead on pit stops, or maybe just get it such a good restart to stay side by side into turn 1 and 2, that's going to be what it's going to take down Ryan Patty here. As we look at things right now, Ryan Smith, the 4, all over the back of the 6 of Finnegan right now, as Patty starts to pull just a touch bit further forward. Now Finnegan going to charge down the front stretch, get to the inside, backs out. I think he just saw the time close up there and just decided to back out of that.
It's entirely possible there as Patty continues to lead. Finnegan in the lead. Here comes Smith trying to close in with Colby, pushing that pressure right up on that rear bumper. Michael Taylor in 5th. Haven't talked about him a whole heck of a lot. He's kind of come up once or twice, but right now in the top 5. It's about where you want to be.
Yeah, like you said, track position key, fighting to stay up, as we see a couple of guys smack the wall.
Kevin Gunther, one of them, in the 31. Now Adam Ball trying to go down low and take advantage. Doesn't have as much momentum as he wanted. Travis Gilbert getting a little bit of a middle corner run, able to drive away. Travis Gilbert, our winner in Phoenix, took that win with the pass on the last lap to the outside of Brian Smith. Of course, Brian Smith sitting in 7th place, got the win 1 week later, last week in Las Vegas.
I'm showing a little bit of my nerdy side here, but I feel like I want Kevin Gunther to get up to this race lead just so I could call him the race general Gunther for you WWE guys.
I will be honest, it might be pronounced Gunther, but the
Well,
WWE
I just,
and me, I've got to say Gunther.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you hear it one way for so long. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the only reason they call it Gunther or Gunther is for the accent. But no, I see that last name, that name. Oh, just as we talk about him, we give him the curse as he goes around there off the corner. I'm sorry, Gunther.
Got some front end damage there. We'll take a look, see what happened. Well, Jordan, you talked about our boy. Talk us through what happened here.
Yeah, we'll see here as he comes off corner. I saw him hit the outside wall a couple of times. Looks like he tries to stay down. Looks like the 45 just sticks his nose in there. And space just evaporates there, gets pushed back to the outside wall, and that was all she wrote. Everybody scattering around there. You see a lot of people taking last-minute dives. You see the 51 have to take an extra little bit of a swerve there to miss the 31 sitting there in the center of the track.
Leroy Koblenz, the 51 there of Caden Henry Oaks. Tizio with a good avoidance there, but like I said, just seemed like a situation where 45 got up in there and made contact, got him sideways here. Right there, got the contact, gets him sideways and almost has it saved, but that contact again from the 45 is going to send it back to the outside wall.
And it just looks like there the 45 just got a really good run and, you know, nothing to do with it.
And we know how easy it is to overcorrect these cars, in especially these next-gen cars. It's really tough to find where the slip angle changes from a something that's manageable to just got to spin it down.
Yeah, I mean, with this, with the unveiling of the next gen car, I learned that my saving skills were a lot better in the Gen 6. I feel like the Gen 6 was a little bit more stable. This car, I feel like you're more on top of the track, and I've said that in a number of broadcasts over the last couple of years with this car. I feel like this car has always felt like you're on top of the track rather than in the track. As you know, the Gen 6, you felt more into the track and able to really just kind of control where you wanted it to go at all times.
Giving this Pink Panther machine a little bit of a TV time. Andrew Dell said he's thankful that the Pink Panther machine made it through. iPhone VT7MP making fun of us for saying Kevin Gunther.
Gunther. I can't help myself.
Oh, I'm a fan the same way. As we get up back to the front, though, looks like Patty gonna choose the inside. He's gonna have Finnegan to his outside, then Jacob Smith behind him, Patrick Colby, Michael Taylor, then the 93 of Zach Lockett. Brian Smith on the inside made it up to 7th. Bentley Glazer to his outside in 8th, and then Jake Christenberry and Travis Gilbert. Gilbert got the job done in Phoenix. But of course, you know, we've got Brian Smith up here who got it done last week. Got it done last year. Trying to work his way back forward after starting 6th, currently sitting 7th. Trying to make it 2 in a row on 2 separate accounts.
I mean, to go 3 races with top 2 finishes, that would be a phenomenal start to the season.
Up off of turn number 4. Into the restart zone. Patty gets on it. Green flag is waving. We are racing once again here for stage number 2. Here comes Jacob Smith up on the outside. Sideways is Ryan Patty. All the way down on the inside. Getting back. The static cams just weren't doing it justice right there. Patty went all the way down to the inside. Lost the race lead to Jacob Smith. Finnegan looking up to the outside. Now looking down to the inside. Trying to take away the race lead here. On lap number 65. To the inside he goes. Can he get it done? Not quite here yet. He's still there, though. A little bit of contact. And Colby's right there. Patty trying to go to the middle and take the spot back. Gets into Colby just a little bit. He's going to push his way through the middle. Finnegan on the bottom. Colby up on the top trying to keep his throttle in it. 3 wide for second place here.
And that's an unconventional way we've ever seen it really here at Darlington. Usually the guy on the inside is the guy that can prevail in the 3 wide situation. He cuts through the middle, takes it, gets a little bobble there off corner 2. And, you know, Smith out front, he did exactly what I said it was going to take to maybe get him a little frazzled, was to stick with him on a restart, hang on to his outside, and get by him on the outside, and he does it here. And now he's got to track down that number 4 machine.
Yeah, and look at that gap he's got to work through. Seems like he's got a little bit of an advantage on entry. Closed in just a touch. Alan loves to say that eyeball test, and you can see that 4 car getting just a hair closer. Colby isn't giving up. He isn't letting that 30 get away from him.
Nah, I mean, something that I see Patty's able to do just a touch better, enough to make a difference on 1 and 2, is ride that outside wall a lot tighter, a lot cleaner, maybe just a scrub there, and able to run down the guy on the outside. He gets right up there just close enough to carry the momentum and drive down onto the bottom of turn 2. A lot better than some of the other cars here.
You see Lucas jumping in saying we got to bring in the 15 for an interview to share his recent business endeavors. And of course, we will. TZO Designs is a big part of what we do here on the Icon Cup Series. So definitely going to get him in. We're just going to probably have to wait until a potential caution flag or something along those lines, because the last thing I want to do is bring him in while he is trying to get stuff done on Sim Racing Media. However, another thing that we do want to bring up here is Ryan Patty is starting to close in, trying to take away the race lead. No, the racing's exciting up front, but we do just want to give a shout out to Hanover Fist, who races with us every Sunday night. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight. He had himself a surgery, and he's in the hospital recovering. Everything is, seeming to be A-okay. But we just want to give a shout out to Hanover Fist, as he, continues to recover from a surgery. I've never personally had a surgery, but, I'd imagine, you get put down, they change something in your body that's going to really mess you up. And, well, Jordan, I don't know if you've had a surgery, but, have you ever had surgery?
Yeah, but I don't know, what his surgery was, and, I can say that my surgery is nowhere near as intense. It was just tonsils getting taken out, but I can tell you that in itself was a horrible recovery. So wish him a healthy, speedy recovery, and see him back out here on the racing surface soon.
Absolutely. But yeah, Terry, we just want to let you know that we miss you on the racetrack, man. Wish you were out here mixing it up with these boys. It's been a lot of fun watching these guys change up different lines, but we're definitely glad to hear that you're recovering, and hopefully see you as soon as we possibly can. Patty settles in to second place behind Jacob Smith, Nathan Finnegan in third, Patrick Colby fourth. Ryan Smith has made it up to 5th place. He started 6th, went backwards, and now he's finally found his way forwards on lap 73. Michael Taylor just behind him, continuing to also move forward. He started in 8th. Zach Lockett, your Daytona winner, started up front. He's still in the top 10, but lost a couple of spots. Travis Gilbert, your Phoenix winner, started 36th. Didn't put a lap down in qualifying, and he has moved his way up into the top 10. Jacob Malone down 5 spots from where he started. In 9th place, Bentley Glazer just behind him, rounding out the top 10 with a couple of green cars. Jake Christenberry, P11, started 23rd, doing pretty good, with Zach King just behind him, trying to find a way around. He started in the 29th position. Jeff Dillon, that 52 machine, he started 18th. He's up to 13th right now. Just behind him, Scott Tompkins. We saw him involved in an earlier incident. Currently sitting in 14th. Chris Mackey in 15th. The Adrenaline Racing Machine with Napa up on the front. Very much resembling a Chase Elliott paint scheme. And here's Adam in the 16th position. Adam knows ball. He is balling out here. That Electric City Racing Machine. Weather Pulse Chevy Camaro ZL1. Cody Eldred in this 32 machine. Just behind him, being followed by Mike Grinnell. Jeff Hollingsworth in the 97. And John McNeil has made it back onto the lead lap. He's currently rocking P20. Milfelt Jr., Caden Henry Oaks, Paul Kermrye all up in this little group here with Brzezowski trailing, trying to get away around these guys. He was up front before, trying to recover from some damage. Leroy Koblenz, that number 42, Adrenaline Racing Machine. He's got some fans in the chat. He's down a couple of spots. He's down 8 spots from where he started this race. Not ideal for him at the moment, but plenty of time for him to work his way back up to the front. Jake Rowell, we've seen him involved in 2 separate incidents. Currently sitting in the 26th position, still on the lead lap. Still got some damage to fix up, though. And there's Anthony Tizio, sitting in 27th, that TZO Designs machine. Oh, we got one Colby. Colby goes around on the front straightaway, and that's going to cost him a ton of time. He was up in the top 5.
Yeah, able to keep it going forward and keeps us under green here, but certainly behind the 8 ball now. Back to 27th place.
Take a look, see what happened here as Smith is going to get around Colby. He goes down to the bottom. He sees Finnegan there. He's going to slide back up. He's going to lose some time here. He's going to lose a ton of time. Wasn't that time around.
Yeah, not seeing anything yet. Maybe off corner exit here. No.
I think it's going to be coming up off of turn number 4. He's going to get sideways potentially on his own. Yeah, there it is. He got sideways off of turn number 4. Collects it back together. Keeps it off of the wall, but that puts him almost to a complete stop.
Yeah, lucky to not get into that wall there. It certainly was headed towards disaster there, but keeps it moving forward as up front Smith with the race lead with Patty trailing behind.
Not just Patty. Let's take a look from the tail end and look at that line of cars. Look at that train just behind your race leader, Jacob Smith. There's about 9 cars going back to Bentley Glazer that are in line here, and every time you see this happen at a road course or a short track, your first thought is whoever's in front of this train is holding everybody up.
Oh.
Ryan Smith works into second place. He got around Patty right there with a move into turn number 1 and is now all over the rear bumper of Jacob Smith, trying to get around his teammate. Potential, bump and run here coming, Jordan.
Yeah, maybe. No, gonna go to the inside, have a good run there into turn 1 and 2. As the 4 grabs the wall there, might be enough to get that 78 out front. Does get out front. Big bobble, big slide.
Wow.
Patty,
and there
force
comes
it
Patty
wide
to the middle.
again. Finnegan looked to follow him through as it almost closed up there. Finnegan going to fight to keep that 3 wide going.
Jacob Smith got up into the wall. Brian Smith stuck on the bottom. He's going to get a little bit loose. Ryan Patty going to take over the race lead this time, but Smith doesn't let him get clear. Stays there on the bottom, dives it in. Jacob Smith just behind him. Nathan Finnegan going to lose a spot to Michael Taylor. He's got the 54 looking to his inside. Into the wall goes Ryan Patty. Brian Smith, Jacob Smith, both going to be able to get around him, getting into turn number 3. Smith stays in. Patty stays into the top.
Patty kind of boxed in there, not going to be able to drive up underneath the 78 off corner, but might have a shot to the outside. Gets the door shut there.
Oh, he got the wall again.
He hangs out there outside.
He got the wall again on corner entry. That caused the 4 to slow down. Into the wall goes Michael Taylor. all the way down the racetrack. He's going to have a tough entry here on the way bottom. Slides up in front of Finnegan, next to the 93 of Lockett. He's got the 54 of Jacob Malone, and you're right. Yeah, he did make it work. Oh, contact there with Lockett and Taylor. Good save by Lockett. He was big time
off corner here.
Out.
Smack the wall. Finnegan gets shoved way down the track.
Yeah, Gilbert bounced off of the wall and made contact with that 6 and created another sketchy moment there, Jordan.
Yeah, sketchy is an understatement there, especially here as these cars don't really like being touched, and certainly push that envelope there on what that car could handle. I think just a touch bit more of an aggressive shove that would have sent the 6 of Finnegan around and headed for that inside wall as he smacks the outside wall here.
Jordan, I tell you what, we talk about Darlington stripes left and right, but we expect those kind of in the middle of the corner towards the exit, not quite where it transitions into the straightaway. And I feel like that's where the damage can really happen on some of these cars. As now we take a look at Jacob Malone in the 54, go to the inside. Oh, gets into Jacob Smith, gets him sideways. Smith gonna save it. Lockett gonna have to go low to take evasive action. Taylor trying to find a way through, and Jacob Smith is gonna somehow get away with the W. As Lockett slows up a ton, loses a couple of spots. Finnegan gets up into the wall. Glazer looks down to the inside of Lockett. Everything happening here in the final, or coming to the final 10 laps of stage number 2. Stage 2 ends on lap number 100. Coming to 10 laps to go in stage 2 with this next time they cross the start-finish line. Ryan Smith.
These guys just... I was going to say, these guys just really trying to drive off these corners here. And that's what's leading to smacking that outside wall on corner exit, because you're just trying to carry as much momentum as possible. But I feel like the wall here, it's almost like it just kind of pops out an extra inch or two than you think it does. And you slap it each and every time. And, I mean, these guys are getting the work done on that wall.
Definitely getting the work done as Jacob Smith holds on to 4th place. Here comes Taylor looking to the inside. Finnegan tried to make the move, but Taylor beat him to it. Into the wall goes Jacob Smith. Finnegan gets a nose down to the inside. It's going to be close there, coming up off of the corner. Got the side draft, got a little touch there. Here's a push from Travis Gilbert up on the outside. Going to allow Jacob Smith to get clear, getting into the corner. Maybe some contact there between the 6 and the 3 on corner entry.
Yeah, these guys are so equally matched right now in this little group that nobody can really get an advantage, and they're just kind of all over one another. Now Finnegan looks to the outside of maybe the 3. The 3 goes underneath the 4 of Smith here, taking away that position. Looks to be under fire by the 6 of Finnegan. Finnegan going to certainly get a run down the backstretch. Going to try to pull that side draft to draw even. Gets even into quarter entry. Up the track just slightly enough to move the 4. Maybe get a good drive off. Oh, real tight off corner.
Lockett tags the wall a little bit. Advantage to Finnegan on entry. He's going to be able to get the pass done.
I've noticed a lot.
Stage, and there's some damage on the front end of Jacob Smith now. He's losing a ton of time. Not sure if those things are related, but he lost a ton of positions there. Jacob Smith back to 10th.
I've noticed a handful of these guys, when they make that inside line pass, they try to push it just a hair further into the corner than maybe needed to make the pass, and then they drive up off the corner, smack the wall, and kind of put them in maybe a little bit of a crossover situation if the other car can pounce on it.
Yeah, and you know how Darlington is kind of the king of the crossovers. It is so easy for you to send it in deep, but then somebody behind you, or whoever you pass, can just set it just right down on the bottom to get back clear of you. Make that pass. Speaking of making passes, Nathan Finnegan gets around Travis Gilbert in the 3. That puts Finnegan up into the top 5 here with under 5 laps remaining in stage number 2.
Yeah, Smith able to get out to almost a second lead over Malone right now, and has found another gear here for the 78 machine, sticking it way out front as the 54. Malone gets a big bobble off corner.
He's about a second off. He's trying to close in as much as he can, but last time around about a tenth and a half slower. Tonight's broadcast of the Icon Cup Series is brought to you by TZO Designs. Not that one. Or that one. Sorry. Sponsored by TZO Designs. TZO creates clean, purpose-built 3D printed die-cast display mounts designed specifically for racing fans and collectors who want to showcase their cars the right way. With more display designs and motorsports-inspired products coming soon, it's the perfect time to start building your collection. For the next month, Icon Cup Series viewers can get $5 off their order by using code ICON2026 at checkout. Just search TZO Prints on Etsy or go to TZO Designs on Instagram to check out the shop and start building your display. TZO Prints, designed by and for racing fans.
Definitely have to get a couple of those, as I've started a Daytona 500 winners collection now, based off of the first and second win for William Byron. I decided I was just going to grab one at every Martinsville. So this year, I'm going to be grabbing a 45 diecast, Daytona 500 winner diecast. So
I certainly
add a Tyler Reddick.
Can't wait for it, man. That 45 is going to look so good. But I tell you what feels so good is the 78 crossing the start-finish line, getting stage number 2. Michael Taylor going to be second over Finnegan, Zach Lockett, Bentley Glazer in the top 5. Then we've got Ryan Patty, Jake Christenberry, Chris Mackey, Jacob Malone, and Travis Gilbert.
So a little crazy there towards the end of this stage as everybody started to realize the differences in tires just with how people were using them up. Everybody was down pit road lap 52 together, so a lot of these guys were on equal stuff. And just kind of showing, how taking care of your tires and how you run can certainly affect you. As a couple of the guys there from the front row of that stage had fallen back. I mean, we saw Jacob Smith. I know he had a little bit of damage on the front nose, but he fell back. Ryan Smith charged forward, found his way to the race lead, never really gave it up.
Yeah, and speaking of Brian Smith, let's see if we can bring him up in here for just a quick moment. Hey, Brian, it's Liam and Jordan up at the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
Stage 2 winner, man. I tell you what, you won last week. You won last time here in Darlington. It's looking pretty good for you. What did it take to get up through the field and take that lead?
Just sitting back, letting those guys up front race like maniacs and taking care of that right front tire, and sure enough, got it done. Also saving fuel. I'm almost sputtering here going down pit road, but I think we're going to be okay.
Well, you did a good job. I'll let you focus on your pit. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I didn't realize we were so close to the pit stop there. I don't want to mess him up, especially after such a strong run. You look at Grinnell there, and he is potentially entirely out of gas. That's Mike Grinnell trying to coast it to his pit box. He is one away. He is just one pit box away.
Oh,
I think he's there. Is this his box? No, he's actually one more away. Jeez. There he is. Mike Grinnell.
It's one of those ones you wish you. It's one of those ones you wish you could just hop out and give him just a push.
Right. Yeah, we got TZO Prince. Everybody jumping up on that in the YouTube chat. I'm glad you guys are a fan, and I am definitely going to be jumping up on that TZO Designs train as we work on through this season, Tyler Reddick, my boy, has won 4 out of the first 6, which means I have to buy 4 die casts, and I am absolutely going to find the best way to display them, and I firmly believe TZO prints, TZO designs is the way to do it. Looking forward to getting those cars, and I'm looking forward to putting them in a display that's going to keep them looking pristine, but also have them do the flex that they are, well deserved of. I feel like 4 out of the first 6, that's a pretty big flex.
You're not going to let that go for a time being, are you?
Dude, I don't know if any NASCAR fan has ever experienced this type of start to the season, but I've been a Kurt fan for my whole life, and he won 2017 Daytona. Yes, that was amazing, but he's always been kind of good for 1 win a year. I just don't know how to react to my favorite driver winning numerous races in the first 2 months of the year. So, sorry for being selfish there. We're going to take it away from me and put it back to Brian Smith, your Stage 2 winner. He's got Zach Lockett to his inside, which is interesting to me. Thought the outside was struggling on restarts.
Yeah, maybe with him being the race leader might be a little bit of a different story, but we're certainly going to find out. I mean, you definitely want that 30 behind you with how fast he's been. So we'll have to see here as they come around the final little hook of the turn here. This green flag going to be back in the air for Brian Smith as he runs these guys down towards turn 1.
Yeah, he gets away strong on the outside. Patty's going to be able to get away strong, too, to take away second. Top 7, single file already. Patty right up on the rear bumper of Brian Smith, gets up into the wall. Just a hair coming up off of turn 2. It's right up onto his bumper, stays in the same lane, but seems like that 78's going to have the advantage coming up off of 4.
Yeah, I saw Patty try to make a little bit of a lunge there, but realized it may have been just a touch hair early. Is you got to time it perfectly if you want to have the best runoff. You see Patty a little slower off corner than the 78 here as the 78 pulls a good length off the corner. As I heard that 78 actually downshift in the corner. Just see downshift right there. To then fire off the corner, grab another gear. See if he does it in turns 1 and 2 here. Didn't necessarily
Smith
hear it. It's
up to
all
the
the 4.
outside of the 47. Making a big move on Zachary King. Just got around Adam Ball. You know that 4 has been fast all day. He's got that Batman paint scheme. Kind of tough to stay in the dark in this one. He's been way too entertaining to keep him off of the screen.
If I had a Batman scheme, I think I'd just every couple of laps come up on the radio, just be like, I'm Batman.
Wish we had access to his radio, because I wouldn't doubt that he's done it at least once or twice. He's usually got Batman on his paint, or on his car, his paint scheme, and
yeah, I mean, I'm Batman.
looking pretty good this time around. Can we figure out a way to get that Pink Panther machine up to the front? The unfortunate answer is no. He has to do that himself. However, we can put him on the television screen, and maybe you guys, much like a WWE crowd, can clap, clap, clap your way into more momentum.
Well, what if I do the, everybody else in the field, Danhausen, you are cursed, Then everybody else right now is cursed. The 20 has a way to get to the front now.
I think that would be booth bias and therefore frowned upon.
Well, good thing I don't have Danhausen power, or else we'd be in some liability here now.
42 Koblenz trying to get to the inside of Brzezowski. Couldn't quite do it. That might give the 20 a chance to get to him. Charles Woods back here in that purple machine, that 98 Crown Royal. Not quite having the run that he wants as now Travis Gilbert works to his inside. Gilbert a lap down. Hoping to get one of his laps back, or get his lap back here. Believe he is the first driver one lap down. No Paul Krumrai, Mike Brunell, Scott Tompkins. Scott Tompkins is the first driver one lap down.
Yeah, and at a place like Darlington, it's hard to race your way back up to that front. Again, not a lot of passing opportunity. Really have to will the car past somebody. As Finnegan's all over the back bumper of the 30 of Patty. Speaking of passing, you just got to be tight up against that guy in front of you and kind of force an error by him. You know, you got to kind of pressure him into maybe overdriving the corner just a touch. Drive up underneath him or on the outside, depending on which line he decides to choose.
Either that or what you gotta do is try to get the run coming up off of the corner, get side by side with him down the straightaway, and just go full send on corner entry.
Yeah, which we've seen a number of times from Finnegan, able to make it work and, full send down into the corner and make it stick. And, the guy on the outside, he sees you, he hears that call from the spotter. So he just out of, instinct with hearing the car inside, gonna be more lenient to possibly move up the track, at least at this stage of the race with still 60 laps to go here. You would hear that inside line, inside car, and maybe just be a little more lenient, move up a little bit, kind of run yourself tight to the wall. And it gives the inside car that good run off corner entry to, kind of box you in a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really good point to bring up. I mean, it's so easy to, use somebody as a pick to try to make that pass, especially when we get up into lap traffic here. We've got a big chance of seeing that over the course of the next 60 laps. Right now we're working lap 117.
Yeah, I feel that, Darlington has the, I guess, mechanics of a dirt track almost. You want to kind of set up, guys to use as picks, to drive in deep down on the bottom, move the guy up, do the crossovers. It's a little resemblance of the workings of a dirt track, dirt car, just with little less sliding.
Yeah, this extra power that we're seeing out of these cars, I know we're not seeing a crazy difference, but these drivers are really going to have to handle it, especially as we get into one of the longer runs that we're going to see here. These guys last came in on lap 102. This is going to 175. These guys pitted midway through the first stage. They pitted at their earliest convenience in the second. It's going to be tough press to go 35 or more laps on either one of these final runs.
Yeah, I also think right now you have a little bit of a, just a testament to how well that 30 car was handling and running. As Smith not able to, put the length on the field here and not really, pull away. As we saw Patty, was able to kind of get about a second or 2 seconds, really push the envelope and get out ahead of these guys. And now everybody kind of staying within some sort of striking distance of each other. As you see, the 08 gets a little bit of a pull there off corner towards the 52 of Dillon.
Just a hair there. Appreciate you guys tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. I saw what you said there, iPhone. I'm not going to repeat it, but I do love the emojis that came after it. However, what I will say, if it's your first time tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so you never miss a race. Right now, we've got 4 dedicated series throughout the week, and we're looking for more. So if it's your first time here, you're just a viewer, subscribe. We've got good racing for you. If you're thinking about potentially getting your league on a broadcast, hit us up because we've got space for you. We've got plenty of space. And if you have any interest in jumping up in here talking about racing like we do, hit us up for that as well because we got space for you too. Love to try to grow this community and empower as many people to, talk about racing that they love at any given opportunity as much as they possibly can. So we appreciate everybody who's tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. But no matter what you're looking for, we've got something for you. So stick with us. It's gonna be a fun journey.
Absolutely. It's always fun up here in this in the broadcast booth. I've found more fun in the booth than I have on the track. I don't ever leave mad from a booth. I've noticed that. I'll leave angry from a race, but from a booth? No anger.
Yeah, it's really tough, when you see some good racing to be upset about it. You can feel for somebody who may have gotten the bad end of the stick, but man, sitting up here watching leagues like this, leagues like the Icon Series, put on a show like this, and I know these last couple of weeks have been tough. We've seen some cautions, a lot more cautions than we're used to seeing. But as I have said week in and week out, that is not at all indicative of the talent level that we have in this league week in and week out. I think this week goes to show how much talent we have in this series. I mean, we're currently running lap 124. We're coming to 50 laps to go for Brian Smith. And I think we've seen 2 stage cautions and 2 cautions for cause.
Yeah, Finnegan starting to enter his name into the chat here as, I was saying these guys weren't able to get as much separation as Patty had, but, Finnegan found his way around Patty. Now Brian Smith has stretched out the lead to about a second and a quarter over Patty, with Finnegan right in tow, just 2/10 off his rear bumper. As these two start to separate themselves from the guys behind them. And, you've got to wonder if anybody here is in this front pack, aside from these two, are saving anything to maybe go just a touch bit longer on a run, to maybe try to find a way to move forward, maybe even undercut, possibly. Strategy is the hardest thing, I think, of a race. You could have the best possible setup for your driving style. You could be running the greatest race, but if you have a strategy that doesn't fall the way that you need it to, as Malone found his way around Patty now. But if you don't have that strategy that falls in the way that you want it to, it's just not going to come together. You gotta have a good run, good strategy, good stops. Just that little bit of attempt that you have to do to put it in reverse and get back in the box, or just move a tail forward, a touch forward. It could be a big difference on where you're sitting on the racetrack.
20 and the 39 sitting right next to each other. We know there's fans of both in the chat. Looks like Jake Carell was just able to get around. Looking at a little bit of a Go Fish game in the chat. Nobody's got Megan Fox. I think MGK had her, but she might be doing her own thing now. I don't follow up with much Access Hollywood.
Yeah, no, it's out of my realm.
Brian Smith continues to lead. It's down to a third of a second back to Nathan Finnegan.
Whoa, smack to the wall.
Caution
there for
is
Finnegan.
out.
Yellow.
Caden Henry Oaks around in turn 2. Bring out the
Rough hit trying to get it going
caution
forward.
of the day. I tell you what, that says 7, but no, he got Travis Gilbert and he got the 47. He's trying to figure out how to get this thing back straight, and he's at a really inopportune spot on the
Oh,
racetrack.
as more people
Oh,
come
man.
flying in.
Goodness gracious me.
I want to say maybe that thing's got a broken right rear toe link. Is every time he tries to move forward, it just wants to turn hard right.
Now let's see if we can get a look at. Well, that's not going to tell us much, except for the fact that he's there.
Yes.
He is still, and he just got hit by the 45, Scott Tompkins, and he got
hit
hit by the 9, and he got hit by the 98. Goodness
That's just one of
gracious
those you
me!
need to
What?
just tow.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just tow. What are we doing here?
It didn't work the first time. You gotta just tow it. Realize that you're not in a position to be there, and he tows it now.
Yeah, he finally did. Man, I hate every bit of that. Wholesale pit stops up front. Let's see what happened here to bring out the caution with Caden Henry Oaks. He's going to get contact from the 4 of Smith and sideways, goes back up the racetrack. Caution's already out at that point. Yeah, he gooses it, spins back up the track, and then he's trying to get out of the way. And then comes back down, gets Gilbert. There's Tizio involved. 47 of King, and here comes Shane Cochran flying through. Nobody behind him knows this. The 31 just spun it out on his own. Matt Everett's came in there hot, and then again the 51 turns sideways.
Yeah, your race leader right there waiting on the pace truck. So, I mean, just at that point, you would have just towed it away. Here comes
Taylor gets up
Colby,
the wall,
and then the 45. 45 throws him up into the 9. The 9's dead in the water, and then in comes that Crown Royal machine that just nowhere to go after that.
Tough situation. Shout out Hosevar for the P4. And perhaps what was he doing? Got criminal, animal, Danimals, sweepstakes. Well, whatever that was, now we have a restart. With Brian Smith to the outside of Ryan Patty. Zach Lockett, Jacob Malone, Michael Taylor, Jacob Smith, Nathan Finnegan, Jake Christenberry, Cody Eldred, and Bentley Glazer.
Yeah, and this is going to be a lot of, I think you see a lot of crazy moves here on this restart. I mean, everybody's going to be fighting for every possible position. Is Patty there on the inside. Going to really try to push it here is, laps winding down. Everybody on fresh stuff. You want to set sail here.
Jumping up into the final 43 laps of this race. Green flag back in the air. The outside gets a good run. Guys in the back spin the tires, get into the wall. Patty stays in second place. Malone pushes him past. Sideways gets Ryan Patty. He's going to save it down on the bottom, but he's going to lose a ton of positions here on the restart, falling outside of the top 15. Potentially more as he gets the thing back under power down the back straightaway. Here comes Colby down to the inside, trying to make it 3 wide. That's Gilbert up on the outside.
Yeah, and this is the furthest that Patty's been in the field all night. Earlier I saw he dropped to 12th. Now dropping all the way back to, if I can find it as quickly as I can, 16th now. Gonna have to work his way through this traffic if he wants a chance at the 78 of Smith at the front of this field here. He's got to go through some tough cars of the 54 of Malone, the 4 of Smith, the 6 of Finnegan.
Way to go and a short time to get there.
And that in turn could potentially set us up for some mayhem, because I mean nothing's more frustrating for a driver to have a fast car and then have something of that nature happen, because then you're just all out. You know you can get by each and every car here. You know you can find your way into that top 5 as you've been there all day long. And it can certainly, that patience could be out there, as it looks like the 4 has some heavy damage on the right front. I don't know what that might have been from. So we take a peek here. Yeah, you see right there, that right front just crinkled up rather heavily.
Yeah, that was a fast car earlier on in the day. Not ideal to have that type of damage at this stage in the game, especially if we're looking at what could have been the final pit stop of the day. Well, I don't know, Jordan. These guys came in here with 60% fuel. They pitted on 131, and they got to go to 175. Is it possible to make it there to the end?
I think it's going to take a little bit of some good throttle control and, maybe a little bit touch of savings to maybe get there. I mean, it's going to be tight regardless. And, I'm sure there's going to be a guy that's going to try to stick it out to the very last drop of fuel. I'm basically running on the gas vapors in that tank if he has to. So it's going to be an interesting watch here as these guys get further and further into this thing, as we're about to be on lap 140 of 175. So might see some guys take a chance. It's a lot of points all up for grabs from that front spot. There's a caution, so that changes everything that I was saying.
Paul Krumrai, potentially John McNeil.
Take everything I just said and put it in the shredder.
See what happens here. Oh, this 97.
See the 97 in the background. It just looks like it went for a rocket into the outside wall. Maybe tried to push it off corner exit, got a little tight, thought he could make it, and then what I'd said quite a while ago is once you hit that wall, changes the entire balance of the car in that moment in time. And you saw him turn off the wall. As soon as he got off the wall, it started to slide sideways, and rather than try to save it, and how you said these things can be snappy, instead of trying to save it and smacking that outside wall again even harder, just goes for maybe just to loop it around, hold it left, put her on the ground.
All right, well, we're going to step aside real quick, pay some bills. We'll be right back with the restart here and let you know what's happening.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Yeah, Malone able to stick right there on the bumper there. Got a little high, maybe a little touch of the wall. There's a big group of cars here. No. Does it bring the flag? Still green right now. And we know how that's going to be. Once he's off the wall, he's going to loop that around. But up front, still going strong is the 78 of Brian Smith ahead of Jacob Malone here. As it looks as though Adam Bald has now jumped to the pits. And caution will fly. Oh, maybe a bounce off the wall, or I didn't see it bounce off the wall, maybe. But once you get kind of tagged, it creates your car to be squirrely. Gets a second contact there with the 5. It causes them to collect each other here. We'll take a peek.
Do apologize for my mic not being on, but you see the problem here with the 31 and the 5, bringing out the caution here.
Yeah, just the contact and then the 5 trying to keep it off the wall. Kind of unloaded the suspension a little bit, goes into the 31 and sends him for a ride.
Well, back up front, Brian Smith leads with less than 30 to go. This is our 9th caution of the day. And again, I've got to give a shout out to these guys. I mean, most of the cautions that we've seen have been guys getting loose, or maybe a spot where it's loose and then contact, but it really has not been, you know, drivers getting in over their heads and hitting other guys. And you know, it's tough to drive these cars, and a lot of these guys set their cars up to be on edge as much as possible, and we're kind of seeing a little bit of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't feel like there's been 9 cautions.
No, not at all. Last couple of weeks, we've seen a number of cautions with, you know, Phoenix and Vegas. We figured out at the beginning of this season how hard these cars are to handle. Right now, we're at the track Too Tough to Tame, and everybody has done a phenomenal job. Let's look back at the chat. We got somebody saying, well, they're talking trash amongst each other. Talking about Danimal Crush Cup versus a Go-Gurt. Still need a word from our sponsor, TZO Designs. Let me see if I can make that happen. Hello. Anthony, it's Liam and Jordan up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How are you doing?
I tell you what, man, people in the YouTube chat are dying to hear from you. How has your race been? I know you're sitting outside the top 20 for right now, but that TZO Designs has made a lot of impact here today.
Yeah, so it's Darlington. It's a tough track. It's a lot of guys out here trying to do their best. It's been surprisingly clean, and I'm proud of all the guys in this race right now. I just had a connectivity problem right there, I guess, and I got some damage, so I'm going to be a little further back now.
Well, you come from Great Lakes Racing. What is the Great Lake closest to you?
Technically, I believe it would be Erie. But I'd like to count Lake St. Clair as a secret 6th Great Lake.
All right, man. Best of luck as you continue on. And, well, before we let you go, give a little shout out to the YouTube chat. They love you.
What's up, guys? I appreciate the support.
Awesome stuff, man. Best of luck.
Yep.
Did not realize we were this close to the green flag. Green flag is back in
Oh,
the
as
air.
we get
Oh,
jumpy
no.
early.
Patty hard into the
getting
wall.
roughed up.
Hopefully
Has
Anthony can get through this, because I would feel terrible if...
As used tires, worn
Oh,
tires. There's somebody sideways
back.
there in the
Mike
middle.
Grinnell.
Gonna keep it
55.
moving.
Oh, right
into
in front of the
47.
97. Sorry, the 47 there of Zachary King. Cautions out once again.
That was a tough hit there for the 47. As the 55 of Grinnell had it saved and ready to go, but just kept sliding a little bit there. 47 nowhere to really go.
Yeah, we're going to see there was contact here coming up off of the corner, trying to avoid the 20. Contact with Travis Gilbert. Gets him sideways back up the racetrack, and he's just locked it down at this point, trying to stay out of the way. Now he's trying to recover, and there's just nowhere for that 47 to go. Zachary King just driving straight into it.
Yeah, it's like he had the slide saved, and then once he felt he had it under control, you let off the brake so you can try to drive forward, and then at that same time, the 47 was just kind of there, and wrong place, wrong time, and gets collected there.
Take a look on board here with the 47. You see the incident happening quite far in front of him. He sees the smoke, and he's anticipating that car is going to move back up, so he goes low, and then it doesn't.
Yeah, I also think the car to the outside of the 47, he saw him there, saw everything happening, and then he, tries to stay off of that car, that outside car. And then as he does, it just kind of puts him on a course for disaster there.
Moving up, we got Brian Smith in the lead. I wonder if there's anybody else we can potentially bring up in here. Bring up Mike Milfeld. Hey Mike, it's Liam and Jordan up at the booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's up, guys?
Hey man, you're sitting here in P3. Phenomenal race for you so far. It's been a bit of an up and down, but... Well, P4 right now, rather. But how's your race been, man?
Oh, it's been all right. Just trying to avoid the carnage.
How's the car feeling out there in traffic?
It feels pretty good, but I'm kind of worried about the tire deficit I got right now.
Well, awesome stuff, man. Who helps you get it done here? Who's going to help you on this restart?
Thanks to my teammates, Heath, Charlie. They do a good job keeping me in line.
Well, awesome stuff, man. Best of luck to you. We'll send you back to high side, but or high line rather. But thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Little in-race interviews. I like to do that. Hopefully the guys aren't upset about it. But got ourselves another restart coming our way with what should be 22 laps to go. Just had our 10th caution of the race. Brian Smith gonna restart in the lead outside of Jacob Malone. Michael Milfelt and Michael Taylor on row 2. Jeff Dillon, Jake Christenberry, Jacob Smith, Bentley Glazer, Nathan Finnegan, Jeff Hollingsworth. Green flag back in the air. Just over 20 laps to go, and more tire spin from the outside.
Yeah, that's going to allow the 54 Malone to stay right side by side. With
Contact between Malone and Smith. Smith hits the wall hard, loses a ton of position.
And now it's all Malone at the front end. Taylor just trying to hold back third and fourth there, but Malone out front, and now caution flies on the racetrack.
Oh, Finnegan sideways.
As Finnegan, another fast car.
I think Zach Lockett might have gotten a piece of it. Nathan Brzezowski with some damage. Yeah, Zach Lockett there sideways.
Yeah, Zach Lockett, another driver that has been rather quick tonight as well. So 3 strong cars with trouble late here in this race.
Take an initial
As no-
slow-mo here on board with the 6. Oh, he got
Oh, it
up
looks
onto
like
the
he just
seam, and
gets.
he just got in there too deep on the seam. It got him sideways.
Yeah, I mean, something we've seen him do all night long, push the inside there. As it looks like whoever hit him there went airborne for a touch of a second. But Finnegan, I mean, he's been doing that all night long to a success. It just gets that seam that sends him outward. Looks like a
Oh,
45,
my
yeah.
goodness. Scott Tompkins almost goes up and over.
So, I mean, that shows you right there how quickly something can change. Is, Finnegan, like I said, has been doing that all night long. One of the better drivers at doing that by dumping down onto that apron. As you ride along here, you'll see him. He just into the corner on that seam, and it just seemed to be, no pun intended, seemed to be a little bit much for him there.
Getting on board with Scott there for a moment as he got that clip on the right front. Got up into the wall. Towards the end of this thing, that's really going to hurt his chances of getting up into the top 10.
Yeah, but now, I mean, not sure. I'm going to assume there's sets left because we haven't seen them take a ton of tires here tonight. Someone to watch is Brian Smith. He's down pit road right now. He's going to come out around 24th, 25th position if he can get all of that damage fixed. He's going to have fresh tires here with just a handful to go here. And again, nothing like creating carnage with having a fast car and being stuck in the back and with issues. So look out for some of these guys here now.
Well, Jordan, here's what we're dealing with now. We take a look at Michael Taylor. Last pitted 25 laps ago, took 4 tires. Same with Michael Milfeld Jr., Jeff Dillon. Bentley Glazer, Jacob Smith, and Jeff Hollingsworth, along with Scott Tompkins, who was involved in that last crash, came in 15 laps ago to take 4 tires. A lot of guys back behind him have come in for repairs. But have they also come in to take fresh tires? Are they going to have an advantage here? Michael Taylor going to lead them down. Zach Lockett just in front for some reason wasn't able to get the wave around. So Zach Lockett leading us down in front of your race leader, Michael Taylor.
Something
And we are not restarting.
Quite right.
Yeah, we are not restarting.
Is there a glitch with iRacing right now? As everybody's just slow off the pace, well, of course they're off the pace. Just kind of
I think it's got to be
pacing
to
here.
do with the 93 being on the tail end of the lead lap. That shouldn't happen, and so there's definitely some sort of glitch with iRacing that's creating that to happen. So
As
I
he
would
now
imagine,
he's going to take off now.
Yeah, they throw a manual caution, or maybe they extended it right after, gave him a wave around. But lights are not on the pace car, so it does seem like we should be able to just show. Oh no!
Oh.
Jeff Hollingsworth around with the 45 of Scott Tompkins, and the caution lights are back on.
Well, that's I mean, that's just unfortunate there. I mean, just a little mishap there with the on-track duties and some people paying the price for it.
Take a look here on board. Oh man,
Oh,
Scott
just goosed it.
Yeah, tried to
Was
get
just
up onto the
timing.
throttle and.
Oh, it's Brian Smith just barely getting by that. Almost tagged the 97 on the nose. It's a lot happening there.
So we'll try it again. Lights are off on the pace truck. We will have 16 laps to go.
Everybody just take a deep breath.
Unless you're in the YouTube chat. Then be as hyped as you possibly can be.
Oh, absolutely.
Drop as many chats as you possibly
Let her-
can. And tell
Let
us
her
who your
rip
favorite
tater chip.
is. Hate to be one of them Twitch streamers and be like, ooh, chat, but we want to see you get hyped up for these final 16 laps at the Lady in Black. At the track too tough to tame. That's what I'm talking about, Andrew. Let's go. Bring some emotes out. Let's celebrate your favorite drivers. Getting ready to do battle here for the final 16 laps at one of the toughest tracks in the history of all racing. It's one of the oldest too. First race here in 1950. 76 years later, here we are with the Icon Cup Series. Green flag back in the air. Restart underway, and Michael Taylor gonna drive away on that inside line. How much time is he gonna be able to spend up front as here comes Jeff Dillon, also on older tires, with contact to Michael Milfeld. Milfeld sideways, Bentley Glazer sideways, Colby sideways. They all save it so far. Everybody saves it.
And Malone going to go to the inside of the 155 there, but a little scary route there for Malone. As now the 08 has a commanding lead over this these front two right here behind him of Smith and Dillon.
I am simply not believing that. We'll take a look at the green flag in just a few moments when we can. Michael Taylor leads over Jacob Smith. Jeff Dillon, Bentley Glazer, and Jake Rowell has made his way back up to the top 5. After an early incident sent him sideways and one following it sent him into the wall.
These last few laps, including the caution laps, have been a little bit chaotic, but nothing better than seeing, Taylor. He's out front. He loves to see all the happenings behind him as he's able to get a lead here about just under a second, just under 0.9 of a second lead over the 4 machine of Jacob Smith, who separated himself from Jeff Dillon. Fastest lap just set off for Bentley Glazer. His best lap of the race.
Restart. See what happened here with Milfeld. He had himself some contact, got him sideways, saved it twice. So
52 just up the track into the left rear.
Bentley gets hit by the 28, and then both of them hit each other and save it.
And the 155 of Milfeld just gave a little tap to Colby, set him straight as we're back under caution now. To see a couple names here: Zach Lockett, Ryan Patty, Kristenberry.
And on board here with Kristenberry. Oh, he gets into Brzezowski.
I just don't think he expected the 77 to get off the throttle that quickly. I don't think either one of them really did anything wrong there. But different lines there on that run.
That's not going to come up on this camera angle. You see him already wrecked up to the top there.
Now we have to wind them back down just to wind them back up. See what happened. Oh,
Rowell got into Patty. Patty might have touched him back, and that's what got him sideways.
I feel like, I mean, not to speculate, it looked like a little extracurricular there happening.
Well,
But as Andrew says, caution, me no likey. Me no likey either. We're set up for a wonderful 15-lap finish there. Now everybody's got to get stacked back up and ready to roll. It's one of the hardest things to do is to, especially if you're the '08 of Taylor there, you're out front, you're in your mindset of just run the best 15 laps that you can. And now you have to reset. You have to get a good restart, which we've seen struggles with the old tires and, getting fired off in a clean manner. So now we're going to have to see if he's able to separate himself from Jacob Smith while keeping the car underneath of him.
real quick, we're going to see if we can bring in Ryan Patty. Ryan, it's Liam and Jordan up at the booth. Real quick, you got a copy.
Hey guys. Yep, I got you.
Well, good run so far. What was up with that contact there with the 39?
Yeah, you probably have to ask him. Apparently he was upset that somebody was racing him side by side and decided to come up well after the caution came out and put me on the wall and spin me out.
Awesome stuff, man. Good enough for us. Best of luck here on the restart.
Yes, sir.
Well, maybe we'll ask him next time, but we got one side of the story. Ready to rock and rumble here for just a couple more laps. Going to be 9 more when we take the green flag. Michael Taylor, Jacob Smith.
Oh.
Little bit of tire spin from behind the race leaders. Jacob Smith on 10-lap pressure tires. Then the leader, can he take advantage of them? Bentley Glazer in the same boat, trying to close in. Jake Roel on the outside. Going to get sideways as Travis Gilbert all the way down to the bottom. He keeps it straight. Going to come back up the racetrack, but lose a ton of positions. Just behind him, we got 3 wide. There's Brzezowski in the middle. Tizio on the outside, and Ryan Patty trying to work his way back up through. More contact between Brzezowski and Tizio. Brzezowski's going to be able to take advantage here. 8 laps to go here in Darlington. Smith trying to close in on Michael Taylor. Bentley Glazer not too far behind. The top 3 within 3/4 of a second of your race lead.
Yeah, Smith, I mean, he's got the fresher tires, but has that right front fender damage, and I'm just curious if that's what's kind of keeping him at bay to the '08 of Taylor here. And Taylor just he's in that mindset, run these laps as best as you can and run this thing to the end. Just pray that there's no cautions, because you start giving these guys chances to make runs at the '08 here, and certainly someone's going to either get into him or get by him as we come to 6 laps to go here from Darlington.
6 more times around, this gap has increased to about 0.4 of a second over Jacob Smith. Bentley Glazer in third, Jeff Dillon and Jeff Hollingsworth, and into the wall goes Jeff Dillon off the front bumper of Hollingsworth. Or sorry, that was Patrick Colby. Nope, that was Jeff Dillon up into the wall.
And now he's got a hurt race car just trying to limp it back around. He's going to get the wall again. Evasive action by everyone around him. As he's just going to run the Ross Chastain line up against the fence.
Yeah, he's just waiting for everybody to get by. He's trying to get back down to pit lane.
Trying to keep it from being an issue. And
McNeil, the 9 gets into the wall very hard.
Still just trying to keep it going and find a second to dive down.
Staying green, Dillon still out on the racetrack. Michael Taylor is out to about an 0.8 of a second lead. Bentley Glazer trying to take away second place over Jacob Smith. Not quite able to get it done here coming up off of turn number 2. He's got to set himself up that run so he can make it easy getting into the next corner.
Yeah,
man,
big
sideways
slide by
goes
Glazer.
Bentley.
That's going to help relax the 4 a touch. You know, when you have somebody right there on the rear bumper, you keep looking in that rear view mirror. You lose your sight line on where you want to, you know, get off throttle, maybe touch brake. So by losing that pressure there from the 36 might give Smith enough to maybe make a shot at the 08 here with just two.
Caution
I was
is
going to say
out.
coming at 2 laps to go, but now the caution flies again.
Hersey's around. Everett's is around. Once again, with less than 2 laps to go, the caution is going to come out. Michael Taylor has not made a pit stop since lap 131. He's working 42 laps on this set of tires. This is going to leave him a very tough call. Gonna wait and see who decides to pit before we look at what happened to bring out that caution. Take
Yeah,
a
and you know
moment to
Michael
look at
Taylor is
the YouTube chat.
Yeah, you know Michael Taylor there is just praying, you know, just had been begging for just a lap and a quarter, if not just a lap. Get that white flag and set sail, because he had this thing rather, I don't want to say in the bag. You never know what could happen, especially here at Darlington, but he was set up and ready to roll.
Well, now we got Travis Gilbert, who last came in on 151. Is he going to be able to put a fight up to the race leaders? We'll take a look here at what happened to bring out the caution flag. Hersey got tagged by Shane Cochran, and Matt Everett
got double.
Nowhere to go.
Got double tagged. Just unfortunate there for the 24 machine of Brock Hersey.
Got Bombay Sapphire, Bombo Clat. What are we drinking in the booth tonight? Some ice cold Mountain Dews. Take it to the checkered, number 8. The wall is a magnet. We got another emote. Let's go, Michael Taylor. That's from Mark Taylor. Gotta say, he might be a little biased there.
No. Absolutely no bias whatsoever there. Just a coincidence. Now, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, not to point out too much, but you've got a couple cars here that were down 151. Like you said, Michael Taylor down lap 131. Smith and Glazer both down 141, so a little bit fresher.
But it doesn't look like anybody came in this time around except for Jacob Malone in the 54. If he's the only driver, he's going to have to get around 21 of these guys. That's a huge ask.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the race, it's almost one of those, unless you can guarantee that everybody behind you is going to come down, it's one of those, you made your bed, you've got to lie in it, you got to run what you got and set sail and hope that you get just enough of a luck that these other guys have a worse restart than you, which we've seen in that last restart. Taylor got off really well, Smith got off just slightly less, and then some others behind him got looser. I'll have to see what happens here, and Taylor going to set the field a go here.
Well, here we go. That pace truck has made the hard left turn into the pit lane. We've got 2 laps to go here for overtime at Darlington. Green flag is back in the air. Hard into the wall goes Gilbert. The 31 goes around, and we are cautioned right away.
Now it's going to be to see where that caution flew. Did Smith have the advantage over Taylor just enough to take that top spot away? And it seems as though with how they're running, maybe.
We'll try to go slow here. So Gilbert's gonna
Gilbert's going to get loose right there.
Yeah, he gets sideways, spins the tires.
And then you see right there the same thing, the 31 just loose and sends itself up into that outside wall.
Darlington is really tough to restart on old, hot tires.
Yeah, it's almost one of those situations where you might want to just go up a gear, have yourself a little bit better of a cleaner start, but it could easily have where you get run over. It's really hard to fire these things off cleanly, especially here tonight so far with how these tires have been. It does look like Jacob Smith's gonna have the race lead now.
Yeah, we'll take
But
another
you
look
try
from
to
high above. This is
you
the
have those
restart.
you have those fresh tires, you're able to just essentially mash the gas and go. And with these older tires, you got to kind of feather the throttle. And I mean, it's a touchy pedal. The '08 gets going in the restart zone, and then boom, there goes the 3 to the outside wall.
Something right there happened to the 08. I don't know if he was slower out of shift than the 4 was, but something happened that shifted the momentum to the inside where the 4 is.
And that's going to give the 4 now control over the restart.
Yeah, right there. That's the moment the caution comes out.
You see right there that light just to the center of the windshield of the number 4 machine. You see it certainly flashing yellow there, which gives him the race lead here. Control over the field, and does not seem to be a time where anybody else is really thinking about coming down.
No, at this
As
stage in
pace
the
lights,
game, you can't. We'll take one
nope.
more look
Pace,
at the moment of caution here. On board for the lead. So green flag is out there. He's able to get in front.
yeah, ultimately just a great launch there by the 4.
Looking
But it's
at the
hard to see
frames.
that light there, but
It is just in front of us. I should have let this roll for a second longer, but there it is. The caution is out. Take a look at this, and he's got the advantage. Coming back to the restart here. Looks like Michael Taylor takes the inside lane. Jacob Smith up on the outside. Remember, Smith has that damage to his right front. Bentley Glazer to the inside of row number 2, and to his outside is Patrick Colby, who also has a little bit of right front damage. Ryan Patty, Jeff Hollingsworth, drivers up in the top 6. Travis Gilbert, Mike Ronell, Scott Tompkins up in there. Green flag back in the air. Smith able to get away. 3 wide for second. Here comes Bentley Glazer to the inside. Colby up to the outside. Taylor able to block them both. Slower cars, some contact, some traffic, big crashes. Rowell goes around, and the caution will come out for a third overtime situation.
yeah, I mean, this is just green white checker racing here, is especially on these old tires, just trying to get everything you can get. I mean, you think it's your last shot. I mean, of course, we've had 3 shots at it, or well, soon to be 3 shots at it now. But just trying to get everything you possibly can get, and I mean, that shows you what happens here on these restarts.
55 got sideways and just came down and collected the 39.
One of those theories in my head. I've always wondered, I feel like in theory it sounds like it could be better, but in real world applications, and especially on iRacing, if you change it from a 2-lap shootout to essentially like a 5 or a 10 lap, what difference would that make? And in theory, you think 10 laps, people might be a little bit more patient on those first 2 laps. But in practice, I feel like it just wouldn't be that much better, but your brain sometimes just wonders.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go ahead and step aside for one last little break before the finish of this race. See you on the other side for the restart.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
All right, coming back here for what should be the final green-white checker here for the Icon Cup Series in Darlington. Scheduled 175 laps. We're on lap 184. Should be 186 where the checkered flag falls. Pace truck's about to make that hard left turn once again. Jacob Smith chooses the outside. Michael Taylor on his inside. Ryan Patty, Patrick Colby, Jeff Hollingsworth, Bentley Glazer. Green flag back in the air. The outside gets away strong, but Patty not able to get in front of that 08 machine.
Yeah, they're side by side, and that's exactly what Smith wants to see, is those two fighting for that second place spot. Patty gonna be clear off turn 2, as now he
Crash
goes to
down
run
the
to make a
back.
shot. His crash down the backstretch.
Caution's going to come out. Does this end the race? I believe it does. I believe we've only got 3 green-white checkers. So Jacob Smith, well, they didn't wave the white flag.
I will say the graphic did show the white flag. So I'm not sure. Exactly if that's gonna.
Sorry
Yeah,
to go
it does
meta
look
there,
like.
but
Does look like it says only 3 green-white checkered attempts.
so we'll sit here for a moment. But I believe we should be looking at Jacob Smith as your race winner. Coming across the start-finish line, Jacob Smith takes the checkered flag, gets it done in Darlington. Ryan Patty gonna finish in second. Michael Taylor up in third. Patrick Colby and Bentley Glazer round out the top 5. Jacob Smith gets it done here after a third overtime. Doesn't quite finish out with the results that everybody else was hoping for, but that 4 machine took a bent up front end to the front here at Darlington. Got it done. Now we're going to have the opportunity to watch him burn it down.
Yeah, Smith had a great run there towards the beginning of the race. Had a little bit of trouble throughout the middle of it. Found his way back to the front. Comes away with the win, as well as Ryan Patty. I mean, he had some issues there towards the end after a strong run. Finds himself back in the P2 spot, and Taylor, he certainly had this in the bag had we stayed green a couple of times, but able to hang on there for that third place spot.
Phenomenal drive here out of a lot of guys and a lot of really good green flag racing. I know we saw a decent amount of incidents throughout the course of this race, especially towards the end. But man, these guys, given the last couple of weeks, I think these guys really showed what they're capable of doing at one of the toughest tracks on the circuit. It's incredible to sit here and watch these guys get it done. But Jacob Smith, best of the day. Really one to watch throughout the whole course of this thing.
Yeah, I think just the old tires on several restarts, it was tough. I mean, you saw how just quickly it shot off to the right for some of these guys, and the car looks stable just up until it starts to break that traction, and once it does, it just goes off the side. As Jacob Smith says, we don't need to reuse this motor. Sends a rod into the heavens.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring up our results page. Shout out to Shane Cochran for helping us out with this one. Hard Charger Race of the Word goes to Travis Gilbert, up 29 spots. Most laps led goes to Brian Smith, who led 68. Bentley Glazer had the fastest lap of the race, but the fastest lap of qualifying went to Ryan Patty. We saw 16 cautions for a total of 48 laps. A lot of those came right there at the end. We saw incredible green flag racing. 6 green flag lead changes amongst 5 different leaders. 186 out of 175 laps completed here today. Jacob Smith, Ryan Patty, Michael Taylor, your top 3. Patrick Colby, Bentley Glazer, Jeff Hollingsworth, Travis Gilbert, Cody Eldred, Nathan Brzezowski, and Nathan Finnegan round out your top 10. The rest of the grid will continue to scroll underneath. We're going to go ahead and see if we can get with our race winner here, Jacob Smith. Jacob, it's Liam and Jordan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, we got a copy, guys.
Well, it definitely did not seem like that was one that was going to come easy to you, but you come home with the win. Decent amount of ups and downs, but you were able to stay at the front of the field for most of it. What was it like racing through the field and when you were in dirty air versus clean air?
Yeah, that was definitely really difficult. So, I mean, Ryan had a great qualifying. I thought I had it on pole. He kind of beat me out right at the last second. So I think I got a good jump on the start, got ahead of Ryan, and then he pushed real hard to get back in front of me. And yeah, riding in dirty air was not fun. So a lot of ups and downs, getting cleaned out by a certain car who seems to be cleaning people out every week here, and had to fight back through the field. Got a little bit of damage at the end. And yeah, just somehow made it work. So super happy with the result.
Yeah, you had a couple of green-white checkers to overcome. What was it like on those restarts? I know Michael Taylor was really aggressive on some. You had some guys behind that were pushing aggressively. What does it take to get a restart late in the race down pat like you did?
A lot of throttle control, and I did NIS earlier this week. We had 20 restarts, so I had a lot of practice getting these restarts down. I know I had a little bit fresher tires than Mike too, so I think I was able to get in front of him for one of the restarts. And yeah, I think just those fresher tires and good timing saved me.
Well, Brian Smith won last week. Brian Smith won last spring in Darlington. Now Jacob Smith gets the job done. What are you gonna say to Brian?
Brian was super fast in it. Everybody, Mike was fast, Jake, Matt were all fast. So just glad we could bring this Midwest Euro Parts Ford Mustang into victory lane and have a throwback paint scheme at Darlington to do so.
Well, awesome stuff, man. You performed incredibly. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank for such a strong run here in that number 4 Ford?
Yeah, everybody at RSR put in a lot of work this week trying to figure out what the right strategy was going to be for Darlington here. And again, my sponsor here, Midwest Euro Parts. So they've been super helpful. It's 2 years in a row with them. Yeah, other than that, just like I said, Mike, Brian, Jake, Matt, super good all week.
Awesome stuff, man. Congrats on the win, and we'll be talking to you again shortly, I'm sure.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Jacob Smith, your race winner. Second place, Ryan Patty, I believe. Jordan, he's with you.
Thing.
Hey, Ryan Patty, it's Jordan in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Jordan, how's it going?
Hey, man. So, I mean, you had a fast car all night. You got into a couple couple of things here and there, but you battle your way back up to P2. I mean, take me through some of that there, man.
Yeah, it was quite the roller coaster tonight. Obviously starting on the pole, was really happy with the speed of the car. It's a great track. This is one of my favorite tracks. I've won here before, and I was hoping to have a nice clean run. I know obviously we got a lot of speed and talent in this league, so holding the lead all night was probably not a realistic expectation. But what I really want to do is just stay in the top five and have a clean race. And felt like we were doing that for a long time there, but for whatever reason, stage three, everyone decided to take their gloves off and start going wild. So, I'd obviously try to, not get into anybody, make some passes clean and, not cause any trouble. But obviously a little tiff with the 39 there getting into me. Thankfully didn't cause too much damage. I was able to recover for a P2 and I'm happy with a podium and walking away with a top five, to be honest with you. The start of this year hasn't been what I'd hoped for. And, you know, my goal really is to at least get a top 10, maybe a top five every week.
Yeah, and that actually leads me into the next thing that I was going to talk about. You have the third, early on in, Vegas, but Daytona wasn't what you wanted. You go back the last two races, just outside the top 20 and then, just inside the top 20. Now you get this P2 here. I mean, that's certainly got to give you, back on that track kind of mentality that you could kind of move forward, find yourself, on the right track to getting this season back under control.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, stage points are so important here as well. There's 10 points, all the way to one on the line twice a race plus your finishing position. So it's not like I can just park it in the rear, let the chaos happen, and try to find a good finish at the end of every race. I've got to be able to consistently run in the top five. So that's the goal. And yeah, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of folks that don't want to give an inch in this league, and I get it. I mean, I understand there's a lot of fast guys that think they have the right to be running top five. So my goal is just to not make any contact and hopefully just be quicker.
Absolutely, man. Well, again, you set yourself forward with this P2. And before we send you on your way there, brother, is anybody you want to shout out and thank for tonight's race?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys in the booth. Thanks again for doing everything you can here to put on a good show and get this league in front of as many folks as view it every week. Appreciate all the viewership and my teammates for helping me out every week with tweaks and adjustments and different tips for the tracks. And then obviously shout out to my family. My wife tunes in most every week. I love you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks again, guys, and hopefully we'll catch you next week.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for your time and certainly look forward to watching you the rest of the season.
Sounds great.
All right, now we're going to bring in Mike Taylor. Mike, it's Liam and Jordan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, you come home third place. I know late in the race you were leading. You were hoping for that win, but you come home on the podium. Talk with us about your day. It didn't really seem like it was the easiest, especially in that second half. You had some traffic to overcome.
Yeah, definitely a bummer of a finish. I'd say that's the saddest I've ever been to get P3. It's unfortunate that caution came out with one turn to go. So still looking for that first win, but we've had pretty good performance. A lot of top fives in the season so far. So my goal today with Darlington was really just to keep the car clean and save tires. So I was able to keep the car in the top 10 for most of the race. Tried to avoid the guys in the top 5 to top 8 who really don't want to give up much. I feel like everyone's kind of tends to race like it's the last lap the whole race. So kept myself out of that, kept the car clean, no damage on it, and that put me in a spot to be able to win the race at the end. Came down to that third to last caution. Jacob had tires that were about 10 laps newer than mine, so he was able to get the jump on the restart, and I spun mine a bit. So got his nose out in front of mine, and then just we didn't have basically a green flag run to the end after that. So glad that Jacob could get the win. I did end up getting into some contact with him earlier in the race, so it was well deserved for him to get.
Well, awesome stuff, man. You come home in third place. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank, and what can we expect out of you next week in Martinsville?
I just want to thank everybody watching. Thank my family for constantly supporting. Thank my teammates. Again, glad that my teammate was able to pull off the win and we were able to get a double podium. Heading into Martinsville, I think the goal is just going to be to survive. I don't know how we're going to 43 race cars in a Sunday night league race in Martinsville is going to be interesting. So that'll just be survival of the fittest, I think.
Well, awesome stuff, man. Congratulations on the top 3. We'll be seeing you next week. And yeah, best of luck, man.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that's going to about do it for us here on Sim Racing Media. Go ahead and bring that results page back up one more time. You guys can see where your favorites finished. Smith, Patty, Taylor on the podium. Jacob Smith gets it done under caution after a third green-white checker overtime situation. Jordan, what are your final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of this race, all through stage 1 and 2, we had a decent amount of cautions, but it didn't seem like a lot at that time. And then there towards the end, the old tires on restarts, bunched up field, it just kind of took over here at the end, and chaos ensued. But I mean, all in all, it was a great race just up until that green white checkered. And I mean, it's upsetting to see that, but at the same time, these guys are great racers. They'll figure it out. They'll find a way to bounce back from it and put on a even better show than they already did. And I think Darlington definitely showed its way that it's too tough to be tamed.
Yeah, and I know these guys have been frustrated after the last couple of weeks. We've seen a lot of cautions in the last 2 weeks, but being able to come to a track this tough and start stage 1 as strong as we did. I mean, we went to lap 20 or 30 before we saw our first caution. I mean, these guys, week in and week out, they just continue to get better. But like I said, I know a lot of guys have been frustrated about the amount of yellows, and seems like they did something this week. One of the toughest tracks on the circuit wound up having the least amount of yellows over the last 3 or so weeks. So these guys, they're figuring it out. It's fun to watch each and every week. And well, I tell you what, man, Jacob Smith, he put on a clinic today, got her done.
Absolutely, yeah, just a strong run. And again, I feel like that was the patience thing that we had talked about. He had the patience, found his way back up front, and comes away with the win.
He absolutely did. But that's going to about do it for us here on Sim Racing Media. We can't thank you enough for tuning in, spending your Sunday night with us. It's been incredible. The Icon Cup Series always puts on amazing racing. But before we let you go, I always like to quote Cletus and say, do it for Dale and be like Biff. And of course, we've got to quote Tony Trapasso. Say, as you guys walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Have a good night, folks.